I received about 3 requests over the weekend in the comment section requesting me to do the Philippines, and I really appreciate that feedback. So this video is dedicated to you. Hopefully you're watching. I am so happy that you recommended Philippines as a destination for people to retire, because the Philippines really is the pearl. I could see why it is known as the pearl of the Orient Sea, because they are offering really flexible visa options for Americans who would like the Philippines to be their country of choice in their move abroad journey. So in this video, I'm going to break down the various visa options that are available, whether you want to work in the Philippines, retire in the Philippines, as well as their healthcare, the cost of living. So without further ado, let's get into it. So the Philippines is known as the Pearl of the Orient Sea. It is spread over 7,000 islands between the Pacific Ocean and the South China Sea. The Philippines is famous for its friendly community, tropical climate, and stunning beaches. Really hospitable climate throughout the Philippines, as it is tropical climate. And extremely reasonable cost of living. And it's no wonder that it's a popular place for Americans, particularly ex-military Americans. So as a US passport holder, you can enter Philippines without a visa. However, if you wish to stay in the Philippines for longer than 30 days, you do require a visa, and there's several subsections of visa that I will mention. Now, the categories for the temporary long stay visas are those coming to the Philippines for business, pleasure, medical treatment, training, attending conferences, workshops, seminars. So essentially business, tourism, leisure activities, as well medical treatments. If you are attending for a medical treatment, your escort will require a visa as well. The duration for the long stay visa is for 60 days, 59 days, which has to be renewed prior to the expiration. Yes, prior to the expiration. And if you need to stay longer, past the 59 days, you can apply for an extension through the Bureau of Immigration before your current stay expires. It's really important that you apply for the extension prior to the 59th day mark. The next type of visa is a work visa. The initial requirements is that you must have a work contract with a Filipino company in order to even submit a complete application. The typical length of a work visa is for 1 year, that can be extended for another year, not to exceed 3 years. So the longest duration of a work permit visa in the Philippines is 3 years, which can of course be extended, but the longest that immigration will offer you is for 3 years. The application fee is $400. You must also show tickets or flight reservation upon application, an endorsement letter, like I said, a contract letter from the Filipino company, an employment certificate, hotel accommodations as well. The next type of visa is a student visa. This is for a foreign student who has been accepted for a course of study in the Filipino educational institution. The school that you're accepted to has to be recognized by the Philippine Higher Education Institution. So if you're going to use the student visa route, make sure the school that you're using is recognized by this higher authority in order to get the credit to apply for the visa. You also need to prove that you've been accepted into this program, a letter of acceptance, and the fee is $250. The other types of visa, which I'm not going to really get into because they're self-explanatory, is the spousal visa, which of course those of Filipino descent can apply for a spousal visa for their non-Filipino spouse. Now the retirement visa is where it really gets interesting. So there are several categories of what's called the Special Resident Retirees Visa, SRRV, and it's available to anyone who is at least 35 years of age. in good health, put an asterisk next to that because I will come back to explain more. You do not have to be of retirement age. So they begin accepting applicants as young as 35 years of age. And under the SRRV, depending on which one you get, you can reside in the Philippines indefinitely, as long as you continue to meet the annual requirements. It does have to be renewed annually. And once you have a visa, vis-a-vis the special resident retirement visa, you are issued a Philippine Retirement Authority ID card, which declares that you are a permanent resident. So this allows foreign nationals to live in the Philippines indefinitely as retirees, as long as they continue to meet the financial requirements. So it signifies, this ID card signifies that you are a permanent resident vis-a-vis the SRRV program, and you can reside in the Philippines on a long-term basis. So again, I mentioned there's several categories of this visa. The visa eligibility is based on you having a pension or making a deposit at a Filipino bank or a combination of both. So this is the main requirement giving you this residency status. So you can also work in the Philippines under this visa as long as you have an alien employment permit. So there's some elements of reciprocity with the work visa program. Under this program, you will also benefit from income tax exemptions over your pensions and annuities, custom duty exemptions with regard to importation of household goods and personal effects up to $7,000 US, and a travel exemption if you stay in the Philippines less than 1 year from the last entry day. So the first SRRV Smile, again, these are several categories under the retirement visa options. Applicants must be at least 35 years of age or above, and they must have a minimum of $20,000 US in a Filipino designated bank account. The next visa is the SRRV Human Touch visa, which is specifically designed for those who are ailing or suffering with a medical condition and are relocating to the Philippines in order to seek medical care. So it's in essence a medical visa that allows you to remain in the country for an indefinite period of time in order to seek medical care. So I think this is truly remarkable and a testament to the humanity in the Philippines. And I was so pleased to see this and really excited to speak to you about it. And because it really opens up avenues for Americans who are ailing or suffering with health issues to say, hey, the Philippines does not use that as a deterrent for you to move there. Actually, they have like this compassionate program that invites you to seek residency and seek medical care, and they do have universal medical care as well. I'll get into that later in the video. So the requirements under the Human Touch visa, you must be at least 35 years of age. So again, you don't have to be of retirement age. You must receive police clearance, of course. You must have a health insurance policy that's acceptable in the Philippines. You must also demonstrate proof of a pre-existing medical condition. I feel like this is the only time where proof of a medical condition helps people in terms of, usually people are disqualified from visas if they have a ailing health issue, but now doors are opening, and that's really, really wonderful. I was excited to see that. It requires you to have a monthly retirement benefit of $1,500 US. You must maintain at least $10,000 US in an approved retirement account. So this money that's deposited into this retirement account must stay untouched for the totality of your stay in the Philippines, though it can be withdrawn after your leave. And so this visa focuses heavily on medical access. The primary benefit of this visa is the ability to reside in the Philippines while receiving medical attention. There's no exhaustive list as to what's considered an extensive medical need. Essentially, just provide documentation that you are ailing with this condition and this impacts you in these ways, and just provide documentation from your U.S. doctor, which of course must be apostilled by the Filipino embassy. So this is a pathway to retire in the Philippines while accessing necessary health care, hence the term Human Touch. Now, the next visa is the SRRV Classic. This is primarily for retirees age 50 or above, but there is a caveat if you're under 50 years of age, and I'll discuss that. So, based on this visa, you can pay a lower deposit requirement if you have a monthly pension, or if you do not have a monthly pension, you will pay a little higher deposit. So this is for a healthy principal retiree who will use their deposit. So this deposit is contributed to the purchase of a Filipino property or for the long-term lease of a house and lot. The visa deposit schemes are as follows. So again, if you're under 50 years of age, the requirement is a $50,000 deposit, which will be used toward a property or a lease. Applicants age 50 years or above without a pension, the deposit is $20,000. So the deposit is higher if you don't have a pension. If you do have a pension and receiving it currently and are 50 years of age or older, the deposit is $10,000. So again, these deposits are contributed to the purchase of property in the Philippines. The next SRRV visa is the Courtesy visa. So this is for former Filipino nationals who are 50 years of age and foreign nationals who are 50 years of age or more, who have served as Filipino ambassadors or diplomats, honorary consuls, retirees of international organizations such as NGO or the United Nations, and former military personnel officers. So this is typical for American ex-military to use this type of visa in order to retire in the Philippines. The requirements: police clearance, medical certificate. The deposit amount is $1,500 US. Again, this money must be deposited into a Filipino recognized bank. The application fee is $360. You must be receiving a monthly pension that is at least $1,000 and must remit this $1,500 deposit to a Filipino bank account. So this application requires a minimum $1,500 deposit again. So now that we know what the visa schemes look like, let's look at the cost of living. So the Philippines is known for having a relatively low cost of living, despite how advanced and developed the country is. So life in the Philippines is relatively inexpensive, but costs vary based on how close you are to major cities. Imported goods and luxury goods are more costly, of course. So if you are mailing amenities and things like that, that's going to be more expensive than if you were buying local items. You should check out, I'm going to recommend a site which is called Numbeo. N as in Nancy, U, M as in Mary, B as in boy, E as in Eric, O, which is a tool to give you an idea of the cost of a country's living, the cost of living in a particular country compared to US cities. So you can use this to get more accurate sense of what it would be like and the daily cost. One expensive pitfall for U.S. expatriates is the higher fees levied for international money transfer. So you want to consider that transferring money from U.S. dollars to Filipino pesos is costly and fees are incurred. The cost of living in the Philippines varies based on the lifestyle, of course, and where you want to live. So it's certainly possible to retire cheaply in the Philippines without feeling deprived. So there's estimates that you can live modestly and comfortably with just $760 a month, including rent. So this assumes that you'll eat and live like a local and you won't necessarily have a very extravagant life. On the other hand, if you want to retire in a more luxurious setting with country clubs and restaurants and eating out multiple times a week at expensive restaurants, you can say that your monthly budget will be closer to $1,200 a month. If you are so if you're receiving Social Security, U.S. Social Security in the next few years and you're considering your options to retire in an inexpensive place, then it would behoove you to consider the Philippines on that list. And so it's really attractive options for many expatriates and retirees and military personnel. And if you're watching this and you are retired in Philippines and you would like to do a collaborative video with me and speak about your experience living in the Philippines, I'm welcome to that. So message me or let me know in the comment section and I will be more than happy to open up the platform for you to share your experience living in the Philippines and invite other people of retirement age to consider the Philippines as an option. One of the major advantages of the Philippines is that English is widely spoken. So if you're ambivalent regarding your move abroad journey because of your hesitation with learning another language, this should be attractive to you. English is widely spoken and part of the day-to-day life of most Filipinos. The capital city, Manila, is truly a global metropolis, cosmopolitan city with a large expat community. It has a large array of amenities, theaters, malls, hospitals as well. If Manila is not ideal for you, it also is known for having a lot of traffic because it is a major city, an international city. So an alternative to that is Laguna as well as Cavite. They're popular choices. If you have more information regarding these two cities and you're watching this video, please let me know in the comments section. Manila is a major city, so there may be a little bit more crime. Again, it's a major metropolis city. But you can compare the crime rates of Manila with those in your hometown using the Numbeo site as well. Another good city to think about that's as attractive as Manila, but they may have less traffic and less crime, is the highland city of Bagayo, also known as the City of Pines. Crime levels there are low. The climate is more moderate than Manila, but it is a drive. It's about 6 hours from Manila. So if you have to do business in the capital city, you want to factor that in. So essentially your budget for living in the Philippines, even if you want to be a little more extravagant, is around $1,200 including rent. So let's get an idea of what daily typical expenses would be if you were to perhaps get a 3-course meal for 2 people. In the Philippines, it's around $22. In the US, it's probably upwards of $100 nowadays. Oh no, definitely $200 nowadays. A loaf of bread in the Philippines, around $1.19. In the US, it's probably about $5. Transportation, monthly public transportation with a transport pass is about $10 in the Philippines, $10, $11. In the US, in New York, it's probably in the 200s or 300s, depending on if you're using the monthly pass, the Metro Pass. But if you're using commuter rails, upwards of 400, 500. Basic utilities in the Philippines, around $100. And in the US, $200 per utility bill. Rent in a one-bedroom apartment in the city center is around $324. In a US city, it's probably $2,000. So as you can see, significantly less. Now let's get into healthcare. So the Philippines offers universal healthcare and private health insurance for all. Enrollment in PhilHealth is mandatory for all expats who are employed in the Philippines. Premiums are automatically deducted from payrolls, and employees and employers share the costs. Expats who don't work for a major employer, who are retired, can enroll in the PhilHealth, and if they have residency status. In addition, many Filipinos carry private health insurance coverage, and nearly all expats do. Overall, the healthcare in the Philippines is really high standard. If you have experience with any US hospital, you know that US hospitals have been recruiting Filipino doctors and nurses for several decades. Healthcare education is championed in the Philippines, which is why the US has looked to the Philippines to recruit medical personnel, as well as because the quality of the healthcare is so high because it's state subsidized. The only discrepancy in access to healthcare has to do with those who live in more remote areas where they don't have access to as many facilities as people who live in urban areas. So that's the breakdown of the Philippines. Please let me know your comments, questions. If you are writing in from the Philippines, in the comment section, let me know what I left out. I'm so happy to hear from you. And if you would like to come on the channel and contribute your experience expatriating to the Philippines, I would love to hear from you, and I'm sure the audience will as well. I do have a Move Abroad course, so if you are interested in moving abroad but you have no idea where to begin, then you can think about signing up. We will walk through the things that you need to be thinking about and taking care of in order to move abroad successfully, such as the visa requirements. Can you meet the minimum requirements in order to apply to your ideal country? Do you have small children? Do you have to work out a custody agreement with their parent? How to go about getting that, as well as do you have elderly parents? What to do with them? What to do with your stuff stateside? Do you sell them? Do you rent it out? So we walk through the things that you need to be focused on and handling as you move closer to your goal of moving abroad. And if you're interested in that, the link is in the description box. Please don't forget to like and subscribe and share with anyone else you think will find value. And I will see you next time. Bye-bye.